Hello, everyone, and welcome back to WHS Now. And today we're going to compare the differences between Rockland, California, and West Linn in the coronavirus effects. So, Dane, you live in Rockland, California, which is outside of Sacramento. What
Yeah,
what is the biggest what's the biggest experience you've had there that is really scary or something you faced that you didn't know would happen?
related to coronavirus or just in general?
Coronavirus.
Okay. I don't think our community's been hugely impacted by coronavirus. We've just kind of been there's a lot less cars, and so there's a lot worse drivers. Like all the bad drivers are on the road. So I think that I'd say that's the biggest scare currently in our community.
The bad drivers.
Bad drivers. Well, there's not many outbreaks. We have three outbreaks or three. Actually, that's not true. We have like over 150 outbreaks in our county.
And
So it's,
then you go to West Linn. So what's it like compared to that?
I mean, I don't think we have any outbreaks here in West Linn. I think we have a couple in Lake Oswego, but uh, when Kate Brown first ordered us to stay at home, I feel like maybe for like the first week, I would say majority of people followed it, but now really nobody follows it, and like people go out like still just to see each other. They just can't meet like in like restaurants or like malls and stuff because they're closed, but they just find other places to meet.
Yeah, I've never really seen this many people go on walks before. So it's kind of
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I feel like this has motivated more people to go out and like do like active stuff than ever.
yeah.
we have been having a lot of people on walks and stuff, but I would say people still abide by the rules still because there's like 150 outbreaks here. So you never know who might have it. So I'd say a lot of people here are still following the laws imposed by Governor Newsom, which is California's governor.
Yeah, I would,
So
I would say that's the biggest difference is that, and like, cause I've been talking to him here, like he says that most people do stay inside, whereas here, most people don't.
Yes.
so Dane, so in school there, you guys are still going kind of like full school, whereas here we have distance learning where we they give us all the work on Monday and it's a pass fail, but you guys still have grades, it sounds like.
Yeah. For our school, there's still requiring. I believe you have the option between you could either choose to have a pass fail or letter grades, or just continue the letter grades depending on how much coronavirus I guess has affected you. Um, I know for seniors it's different because they're graduating and they want to make sure all the seniors graduate and are able to go to college next year. Since they want, especially if they need to pass a class in order to abide by the graduation requirements. So they're a little bit more lenient for them. But on for actual school, we get daily work with daily meetings. It's kind of like it's almost even more work than we were getting originally. Just because most of the work isn't very productive. It's just busy work, really. It's just you fill out a worksheet daily based on a video or something, and then but the majority of the work is preparing for AP tests, and which are coming up in a few weeks.
And do you think that West Linn is like enough work or not too much for distance learning?
I would say that the workload they're giving is equivalent to a school day. Like it's definitely enough.
Yeah. Um, so Dane, you're taking the AP classes and the test. So do you think it's like a good idea for AP to give out the test still, even though like the the studying isn't the same as in school?
Yeah, they obviously they modified the test to accommodate for the coronavirus. They took off certain units that you might not have learned. Um, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the AP test this year because they're very limited. They don't really. I mean, if we're going to go by what College Board like has chose, like says, the AP tests are meant to like accommodate for all the learning, but based on what they're giving us, they kind of says that they're going to only accommodate for like a very specific amount of learning that throughout the course. So they don't really like the whole effectiveness of AP test is just kind of stagnant. It's not really effective with this new system. But I know they've made their accommodations. I'm not sure. It's kind of okay.
Yeah. So with like, have you guys taken the SATs or the ACTs?
We've canceled all SATs recently. I believe the last one, most of the March SATs that people were meant to take got canceled. I only know of there's very select places that actually went through with it. I think that's because their school districts didn't enforce the stay-at-home order or any of the coronavirus things early enough, which allowed SAT testing to happen. But I know all the the March SAT, all the ACTs have been canceled. Just everything's been canceled, and right now I think the earliest ones are in August.
Yeah, I was signed up for the one in June and they canceled it. So
Yeah, I know they canceled that. I think that's more nationwide though, because it's College Board based.
Yeah. Do you think like colleges will really need an SAT like most of them do now? Like, do you think they'll?
I was told from a couple of different sources that for our class, they're going to the requirements aren't going to be as stringent as the other classes because like most of the seniors already obviously some seniors, but for most of the seniors they already knew where they were going to go.
Yeah.
But for us having to apply next year, yeah, I was told that requirements aren't going to be as stringent. They'll be more lenient.
Yeah, I know a lot of the UCs here, which are in state, they're not requiring any SAT just in case you didn't get the opportunity to take it or anything. But then that just puts more emphasis on the other parts of your college app, and it might indirectly worsen your college app because let's say someone was able to take the SAT in March and they did really well and they apply to your school. So then they have another thing, helping their college app. Whereas since you don't have an SAT, you're not. That's just one less thing really helping you. They don't really hold it against you, but it's still not. Still having it definitely gives you an edge over the kids who haven't taken it. And I'm not sure how they can avoid that without just taking out SAT scores altogether.
How are you guys like staying active and everything?
I Along with like the daily walks, like with my dog and stuff, I run every once in a while. Just around the neighborhood. I know there's believe it or not, a lot of people are holding like in-home gyms, which isn't abiding really by the stay-at-home order because I see a lot of people coming and going. Um, but I don't know, it hasn't really changed too much because you can see the tracks and trails are still open. The only things that are officially closed are national forests and beaches, which you're not allowed to go to for any exercise.
Yeah, our tracks are closed, and all the fields and everything. So if you want to go hike, and it's closed, but I always see people go through the caution tape and everything, especially at the track.
Yeah, I don't think anybody abides, but I would say that the fields and the tracks are more busy now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the first thing you guys are going to do when quarantine's over?
I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead. I'm not sure when it's going to be even over because I don't think it being over is kind of going to be gradual because they're not just going to open everything up right away. They're going to kind of like slowly open up, like a parks, and then they'll open up movie theaters, and then they'll open up more other things that were considered non-essential.
Mhm.
And so it'll be kind of gradual. So I think everyone will kind of have a similar experience, and they'll just kind of like whatever is like available, they'll do right then, and then the newest thing that's available, they'll do as soon as that opens. I just think I think the experiences of opening up is going to be rather similar. But I think the main thing is being able to actually go outside and be within 6 feet of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I'm just gonna go hang out with my friends as soon as it's over, because like I think like people will still meet up and stuff, but like um generally people don't go inside each other's houses. So
That's true. One of the things in California, at least I know our governor talked about it. I'm not sure if you guys know this. He talked about starting school in July, and we normally start school about mid-August, which is a little bit earlier than I know West Linn starts, but then we get out earlier. But he was thinking about starting school in July to accommodate for the missed learning that happened during quarantine. But I don't. He's getting a lot of backlash for that because schools that are similar to mine are still going full time school, but then some schools aren't because maybe they don't have the outside resources. The difference between my school makes a mandatory requirement to that every student has to have a Chromebook to take home, and that happens freshman through senior year, and then senior year I have to give it back. So distance learning wasn't as difficult of a shift for them.
yeah, I think that like a lot of schools are distance learning still, and also I feel like with just like a few month hiatus where because we were gonna have like the last 2-3 months of school, then to like move the last 2-3 months of a year to the beginning of the next year, I just feel like it wouldn't. I don't think it would work. Like I don't think kids would be able to focus,
Yeah,
and like
exactly. Yeah.
having to like just finish like the very end of those classes in like 1 month. I
Yeah,
just don't think it would work.
yeah. The next year is going to be really weird. First day of school because we haven't seen anyone really in the class for like 6 months or so. So
Yeah, I know.
it's going to be really hard to focus.
All the kids you didn't talk to outside of social media, you'll see
Yeah.
it.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Reporting for WHS Now. This is Caden Kesselring.